Take 9. um, cinnamon roll, just in case you want to know. Here's the big deal. I know I have not been doing a lot of videos on the 21st Century Longhunter series, um, and understand I have to restate some things because I know it's clear in my head, but I don't know if you get it. Because what happens is I take a long time to research, a long time to go and learn something. I take time out of the week, out of the month to go and do things. And at the same time, I'm a stay-at-home dad, so I'm doing things with my kids. I'm coloring with them. I'm feeding them, bathing them, changing them, clothing them, taking them places, taking them back from places to home, and all that stuff. And it takes up a lot of time. So whenever I go to do something on any subject matter, to take time to go do that, I get like an hour or two. So I don't get a lot of time to, excuse me, I just drank a little bit of my soda. I don't get a lot of time to actually complete learning something, and I'm a kind of all over the place kind of dude. So, yeah. Uh, right now, both of the kids are down for a nap because I got my son up really early this morning. I didn't really give myself time to meditate this morning like I know I should have. But what did I do with that? Oh, there it is. Um, I got him up like immediately after my wife left for work, fed him breakfast. We hung out, we played, we had a picnic right here in the funky ass living room. And I say funky ass because we can clean this living room the day before, and after 15 minutes in the morning, it's totaled. Just totaled. Um, so, anyways, as a part of the 21st Century Longhunter series that I'm doing, not teaching you, but you witnessing how I've learned. And really, I wish I had a mobile camera for that. But anyways, we're going to be reviewing rifles and shotguns, and I just recently bought a pump shotgun. It's for dirt fucking cheap. It's really fucking awesome. I can't wait to show it to you. And I've already lost a piece to it. It's fully functional, but I'll explain that later. And I'm currently saving up for a rifle and a toughie, essentially speaking. I'm on the hunt for something like a toughie, one of those single shot breech loader shotguns or rifles with you can store the ammunition actually in the butt stock and stuff like that. And I'm on the hunt for one of those or something similar to one of those in 223 or in 22 Magnum, if there is such a thing. So if you find anything even remotely like that, please either leave me a message. I'm thinking about creating an email specifically for this site, so that you can email me and or not this site, but for YouTube, so that you can email me, talk to me, send me information so that I can go and look at stuff. But right now, I'm all about cheap guns because I'm trying to save up enough money to go and buy an MGI Mark 15 Hydra modular AR-15 platform. If you haven't seen the videos about it yet, go and see the videos. And if anybody from MGI sees this, if you want to loan me a rifle so that I can show it off and get you some more business, I'll give you whatever information that you need. I'll have to I'll have to set up that email for this, and I'll do a video on it as soon as I possibly can. But essentially speaking, as far as I'm concerned, um, AR-15 platforms are virtually useless. And then MGI came along and created this completely modular AR-15 platform where you can have it in 223 or 7.6 by blah 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 blah, that AK-47 ammunition, or 9mm, or 22 long rifle, or in 50 Beowulf, or in I think they even have a 308 model, and all this stuff that you can completely change this thing out. A rifle that takes direct impingement and piston and direct blowback, and not direct impingement. No, yeah, direct impingement, DI, piston, direct blowback, things like that. It does it all. It does it all. The only thing that I don't think it does is 410 shot shell, but if it does, let me know. But anyways, rifles and shotguns, hats, bags. And I'm saying bags in general because, crap, I got stuff on myself. 1 second, please. The fortune of having kids. Wipes. Okay. That was a lot more than I needed. But I'm wasteful, so fuck off. I know I'm rude. It's okay. You can hate me. I love you anyways. That's just my nature. Don't want to get sued by the do guys. But anyways, rifles and shotguns, hats, bags meaning rucksacks, backpacks, haversacks, possibles bags, things like that. Essentially speaking, the end of rifles and shotguns, I wish to be set up in my very, very best rifle for being a long hunter, which I think would be a semi-automatic MGI AR-15 platform set up for long hunting, rigged for real durability, that or some form of single shot Tuffy-like rifle. 2. Hats. This hat is great for an urban environment. It's a fedora style hat, and I'm not gonna take it off. It's gotten a little wet and it's a little mussed up, and that's the way I like it. I like it to be a little crimped, and I like it to be a little tweaked and a little floppy as all fucking hell, and a little imperfect and stuff like that. The way it is, I like that a whole lot, and I just took an imperfection out that I absolutely love. I love that. You get it at first, it's perfect and it's lovely, and then you walk out into the rain and it gets drenched, and what I do is I pinch right here, I roll it up and give it a quick twist, and then I do it the opposite way, and I shake it out and I put it back on my head, and it ends up looking as weird like this as possible. And I like that. It's not perfect. It's a little mountainy. It's a little woodsy. But essentially speaking, I'm looking for a hat like this, but made in materials that you can go out and be in the woods with. I do have a boonie hat, and I do have a few baseball caps. I don't know if any of y'all remember this. Way back on my other channel, I used to stick my head into the camera and lead in with this as but that was the Zombie Hunter channel, whatever. I was all depressed and lonely and stuff like that. And now I'm jovial and not. But anyways, So shotguns, rifles, hats. I'm looking for the perfect hat to walk about in the wilderness with. Bags, backpacks, rucksacks, haversacks, um, possibles bags, things of that nature. I'm looking for the perfect one. And as I acquire, I will go through them, I will review, and I will give you that information. I will learn and I will share. And then past that, knives. I am going to, as soon as I can afford it, I'm going to buy the Ontario Gen 2 SP50. Um, it's not perfect. It's bigger than 8 inches. I hope the balance point is right on that. Otherwise, it's going to be unwieldy and hard to use. It's got a 1/4 inch thick spine and it's completely flat ground, and I hope that gives it a lot of strength and durability. But guys, it's over 8 inches. I think it's an inch and a half or an inch and 3/4 over 8 inches. And I've started to get to the point where 8 inches, 7 inches is all that I need. I don't need this huge 12-inch blade that can, that is a sword. It doesn't make sense to me. And I don't like the way the handle is and stuff like that. But once I have it in my hands and I've used it for a little bit, the thing is I have been dealing with knives and swords almost all of my life since I was roughly about around 13 years old. Fucking what the hell was that? Apparently a gnat got into my house. But anyways, I have been trained from the combat perspective and not from the survival's perspective. I like the fact that it's drop point. I like the fact that it's wide. I like the fact that it's flat ground. I like the fact that it's got a 1/4 inch spine. And the first time I saw it, I said, dude, I could fuck somebody up on that. And honestly, whenever you're looking for survival, and this is the big key thing, when you're looking at knives, and this is just from research and listening to people talk, whenever you're talking about survival versus combat, survival, it doesn't need to be big, it doesn't need to be heavy, it needs to be light, competent, and capable. Okay? What I mean by that is it is a short enough blade that you can do all sorts of jobs with it, and you're not really worried about accidentally hacking off a finger. It's not a giant ass butcher knife type device. It is a device that you can very, very quickly and easily use, even if you've had no training, which is about 4 inches and under is about that. We use knives every day in our kitchen, and in a lot of ways, if you can use a knife in your kitchen, you can use a knife almost anywhere else. Over 5 inches, we're going into the combat environment. Where knives are concerned, for combat, you want them to be sharp, you want them to be wide, you want them to be long, sometimes in excess of 8 inches. You want to be able to practically decapitate a person if you have to defend yourself that way. You want the ability to completely remove a hand if you have to defend yourself that way. You want to be able to go between ribs and puncture lungs and heart and other major organs with that device. So it has to be narrow, but not too narrow. It has to be rigid. It has to be strong. It has to be able to take a beating. And a 1/4 inch is really good on that. And the simple fact of the matter is I haven't been able to find anything else because I come from that perspective. I am trained in combat. I am trained in the ability to defend myself and my family. That's how I've been trained since I was 7 years old. And I know a lot of you don't have the experience that I do, but it can be the tiniest little thing. the itty-bittiest little thing that can offset your ability to defend yourself. And I assume that it's the same with survival. It could be the littlest thing, the tiniest thing that can offset your ability to survive. Whenever it comes to a combat knife, you want it to be tip heavy. You want it to be, you don't want the balance point to be an inch or so off your hand where you grip the knife. You want it to be all the way down at the blade tip, so that whenever you swipe that thing, it has not only your muscle power behind it, but it has the weight behind it, and you can really get into somebody. But it also has to be light enough that whenever somebody throws a punch or is trying to stab you, you can come up and under and do all sorts of operations very, very quickly. Operations of the body. You're operating a knife, okay? You're operating a handgun. You're operating a rifle. You're operating a shotgun. You're operating a tomahawk. Just get used to me saying that. When you're operating that knife in a combat manner, you want to be very, 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 very fast. You want to be able to hit a person 3 or 4 times before they can blink. Now, is that logical? Is that reasonable? Is that realistic? Maybe not. But that's my personal experience. Also, with a knife, you want there to be some heft to it. But in a combat perspective, that heft is not the ability to process wood. It's not the ability to fell a dead tree. It's not the ability to go in and do the woodwork that you need to be able to survive. In a combat sense, heft is the ability to penetrate through bone, muscle, through skin, muscle, bone, tendon, cartilage, all of that. You want to be able to take that hand off, okay? And as far as I'm aware, with Longhunters, it's both fields. It's not just survivability, but also combat ability, okay? It is not just, I'm going to hack you into little pieces if you come at me. It's, okay, well, I got to build a campfire, and I no longer have a handle on my tomahawk, so I'm using my knife today. Tomahawks, from what I've learned, are not that different. And I've done my research. I've bought enough tomahawks that I believe that I can fit in the factors required for the reviews of them. And essentially speaking, I am named these elements for tomahawks: speed, heft, and volley. Okay? And for very specific reasons. Speed, heft, volley, and balance. Okay? If you have a tomahawk and it's very lightweight and the blade's very, very thin and not very well balanced, and you couldn't really throw it without breaking it, but as far as combat is concerned, you really can dig in and be very, very fast, very quick to deploy, and very quick in a fight. Okay? And very quick in a fight. I remember back to when dipshit McQueen, I don't actually mean McQueen, but what's his nut in charge of Cold Steel, talked about using your hand as a shield. You would want to do this against that knife because he'll just play your knife open. You're not using your hand as a shield, dipshit. You're using your hand to manipulate your opponent so that you don't get cut. Anybody who's done any knife fighting at all whatsoever knows that. You're not putting your hand out to be cut, to be injured, so that your psychological disposition breaks down so that you cannot win the fight. No, you have your knife out, you're taking swipes at your opponent, and you're manipulating them otherwise. Okay? Whenever you see me doing shit like that, I am pushing an elbow out of the way. I am moving an arm out of my way. Okay? If I'm down here, it's because I'm capturing a knee kick and preventing it from coming up into me by pressing down on it as hard as I can. Okay, and continuing to operate. If you see my hand like this, I'm acting like I have a knife in my hand. I swing down like this. This is hitting the inside of another knee. You've got two different kinds of knees. You got the Muay Thai knee, where you bring up and you bend, and you're going for rib cage, and then you have the I'm going to knee you in the stomach kind of knee, which just kind of comes straight up. The best way to defeat the Muay Thai style knee is you drop your elbow to your hip to absorb that rib cage hit. The other kind of knee, if you have a knife, you hammer fist the top of the knee. Boom. Okay, if it has like a glass breaker on it, it's gonna break the knee. But anyways, I still am working out the wording for the knife reviews, but essentially it's the same thing. It's just from a different aspect. Which speed, heft, and volley. So speed. What is speed? What are we talking about whenever we say speed? Whenever I say speed, let's say that. Okay. Speed. How light is it? How flexible is it? Does it feel well balanced in your hand? Is the balance point all the way up towards your hand so that you can swipe that thing real quick and get in there on a person? If it's all just speed, if it's all just speed, it's a combat knife. It's a combat tomahawk. Okay? If it's all just speed. Doesn't really have any volley at all whatsoever. Doesn't really have any heft at all whatsoever. It's just all speed. Uber lightweight, uber sharp, uber balanced, really quick, get into a person really quick with a knife and cut them back and forth across their person before they can even draw their weapon. If they're all heft, and this is what I've seen as of late, watching Wilderness Outfitters and a whole bunch of other dudes. This is just what I've seen, so this is what I'm assuming. This system is not perfect. It needs refinement, and refinement means study, and I'm not there yet. Okay, so if you have far more experience in survival tools and weapons than I do, please give your feedback, but please be respectable. Heft, on a tomahawk, it's how wide the beak comes out towards the handle and how thin it goes. It's how heavy is the knife, how heavy is the tomahawk. Could you use the knife as a machete? Could you use the knife and could you use the tomahawk or the knife to get brush out of your way? Could you use the knife or the tomahawk to process wood? Could you use the knife or the tomahawk to process animals? Can you use this as a survival tool? And honestly, to me, heft is just not the right word, but I haven't found a better one. Volley. Is it balanced right that you can throw it? Okay. Is it set up correctly so that whenever you go to throw that knife, you go to throw that tomahawk, that whenever you let go of it, it's going to spin the right way, if you're trained and if you know what you're doing, to land where you want it to land. Do you want it to land handle first? Do you want it to land blade first? Do you want it to land flat? Okay? With a tomahawk, it doesn't really matter because it's all points. If you hit them with a hammer pull side, or if you hit them with a blade side, or if you hit them with a spine side, or you hit them with a pommel side, it doesn't fucking matter because it's all going to suck. Okay? If you hit a person flat-sided with your knife, it's not even going to knock them down. It's going to suck, but it's not even going to knock them down because all of the energy is dispersed into the person. Whereas, like into the back or something like that, where they're more stable. If you hit them with the point, it's going to pierce. If you hit them with the pommel, it might knock them to the ground because the energy is being focused into a smaller area. You know, and essentially those are the factors, and that's what I'm going to be looking at. The simple fact of the matter is, as far as a survival knife is concerned, shorter is better. So whenever a knife is shorter, we're going to be referring is shorter, slightly heavier, a little bit more well balanced. That's heft until we find a better word. If it's really, really light and really, really thin and really meant for cutting deeply into people, that is speed. Really light, really able to be manipulated. If it's volley, volley is the ability to throw. If like you go down to the local Oriental gift shop and you see all of these knives that look like this, that, or the other, or you go onto Amazon and you search all these knives and you see all these very, very interesting knives, these kunais, these weird shaped shit. Those are all throwing knives. They have all volley. Just volley. They're not really useful for anything else. They could never be really sharpened. Most of them are stainless steel. Hold an edge. They're extremely lightweight. You could probably use them in a pinch in a combat situation, but it would suck for you because they were more likely to break. Because they're not designed to take an impact along the side. They are designed to take the impact at the point or at the pommel. They're not designed for anything else. So they're all volley. If they're all heft, it's a survival hatchet or a survival knife. If they're all speed, it's a combat knife or a combat tomahawk. So those are the sorts of things that we're going to be going over. Another thing that we're going to be doing is clothes. I am a person who wants to learn from the past and apply it to the future and be myself in the middle. And we're not all the way there yet. I am just now starting to talk to a few folk who have been doing this longer than I have. And my next step is to hope that I can, well, not to hope, but to search for a person who can teach me here in Colorado. It's a pretty summer. I want to take me and my son out in the mountains and a person teach us how to be modern day long hunters out here in the middle of the goddamn boonies. And stuff of that nature. But anyways, my brain is starting to wind down and I need a cigarette. So oh yeah, big news. I am quitting smoking because of this effort. And yeah, that makes me happy. I'm gonna go on the patch. I don't know when we have to either call the quit line or talk to my mom about buying patches for us. We're going to do the stage down patches, me and my wife. We're very happy to have reached this point. We're just done. We're just done. We're tired of waking up with groggy voices and black earwax and snot and all this stuff and feeling like crap all the damn time, and we're just ready. And I hope that you wish us luck on that. But anyways, love you guys. I'm going to talk to you later. May all that is wonderful in this world follow you through this world. Have a great day. Oh yeah, and in the infamous words of Hickok 45, life is good.